All right, just adjusting it. Whoop.
Oh, hi, welcome back to Ganza Gaming. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the setting we're going to do for our RPG on YouTube. I thought about it, and part of my DNA as a GM is that I like to do things differently. I like to explore things. I just like to have fun and spread my wings. On that note, Forgotten Realms is great. And I know that we could probably, hopefully, be in a really big pool of audience members if we did Forgotten Realms. But if there's anything I've learned from e-publishing, it's that if everybody can do it, everybody's doing it, and then you don't really stand out. There's a lot of static. So I would hope to aim for an audience that might be a lot smaller than a Forgotten Realms audience, but would be much more excited about what we're doing, which, of course, makes us more excited about what we're doing. So I've kind of taken that off the table. If you're going to take Forgotten Realms off the table, you should also take off probably Dragonlance, Greyhawk, a lot of those similar fantasy worlds where, it's a standard fantasy world. On that note, I'm a big fan of a lot of different genres: science fantasy, pulp, steampunk, science fiction, and I'd like to just meld them all together when I can get away with it. I get really excited about a kitchen sink setting that lets me do anything I want. Now, you can do a lot of things with fantasy, and you can probably shoehorn in quite a few bits that you could do with science fantasy or science fiction. It's been done in the past. Barrier of the Peaks, Castle Amber. There's a couple others I just can't think of off the top of my head, but you get the drift. And I'm thinking that we're going to pick a setting that's going to even push the boundaries of what you would consider in that genre. It's called Day After Ragnarok. It's done by a previous guest of ours, Ken Hite, and it is just gloriously insane. They like to call it submachine guns and sorcery because it melds diesel punk with mysticism and science fiction, and it's great. Probably the best way to sum up Day After Ragnarok would be to point out where the history went different. Instead of a little boy being dropped on Hiroshima, it gets dropped in the middle of the eye of the Midgard serpent, because the Nazi occultists were right, and they were trying to actually bring Ragnarok to Earth. Evidently, the Midgard serpent is a mystical creature, an interdimensional creature that we kind of see as a snake, but probably is more than that, right? So this creature, which defies the laws of our physics, it shouldn't be miles tall and miles wide. It shouldn't be almost a circumference of the Earth, but it is. Its body replaces the iron wall. The head smashes Cairo, turning it into an irradiated, mystical swamp nobody wants to be around. And the fallout from its blood in the air does the same thing to almost 90% of what's going on in the United States east of the Rockies. But in addition to that, since it breaks the laws of physics, studying it has opened up new technologies and new sciences, which is where we get our super science for jetpacks and all sorts of craziness. So with that setup of having it being a combination of pulp and fantasy and even post-apocalyptic, all you have to do is pick the right spot in the campaign and you can pull off anything you want to, which is what I'm really looking forward to. Right off the bat, what we're going to do is probably have our group be Texas Rangers, with the Rangers now ranging beyond Texas into Kansas and Oklahoma, which in our world sounds like a pretty lame thing to do, but the rules are rewritten, and the edges of those two states is where the poisoned lands begin. And you take your life in your own hands if you're not an armed person ready to deal with what's going on. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be crazy. Come with us for the ride. I'm looking forward to it.